Hello, beautiful friends and book lovers. I hope that you are all doing well. I am definitely doing well because I am filming this on a Monday because if you're new here, I am a teacher for like my actual job. YouTube is just a hobby. But I'm officially on summer break. So it's so nice. I just put our little man down for his first nap of the day, and now I'm here to film my May wrap up. And I read 6 books in the month of May, which is quite a lot for me. And I had 1 star, 2 5 stars, and then a couple just like sprinkled in the middle. So I'm super excited to talk about them. My name is Heather, and here at Heather's Book Review, as you can see behind me, I tend to read and review thrillers. They are for sure my absolute favorite genre, but I will occasionally just read the like super hyped up fiction novel or if a book is really popular at the moment, I will most likely jump on the bandwagon. So as you guys know, the past like month or so, I've been playing around with a read with me kind of vlogish style video. So the first book that I'm going to be talking about today is a book that I have filmed an entire read with me in 3 sections. So if you have the book and you want to feel like you're reading it with someone, or maybe you've read the book and you just want to see how I was feeling as I read it, then those videos are definitely super fun. And that book is Breathless by Amy McCulloch. This was the May Book of the Month choice, the thriller choice. And as you guys know, I have vowed to read and review the thrillers for Book of the Month, every single thriller in the month or in the year of 2022. So this is my 5th thriller from Book of the Month. If you're unfamiliar with Book of the Month, it is a book buying subscription for $14.99. You get to choose 1 hardcover. As you can see, they come with this little color sticker on there. So all of these hardcover books I've gotten for less than $15 or sometimes $10 because my favorite thing about Book of the Month is that you can choose an add-on book for $10. So for example, this month, June box, it should be delivering today. But I chose Jennifer Hillier's new thriller. And then there were 2 thriller choices. So I chose both of them. But yeah, I mean, I got both thrillers for under $30 and they're hardcover. So I will leave my referral link in the description box below if you're interested. But I did film an entire read with me video on this. It should be coming up very soon. But unfortunately on my rating scale, this was a chore to finish, you guys. I ended up giving this 1.5 stars, which was a bit of a bummer because April's Book of the Month, Like a Sister, was not great either. So for the past 2 months, the Book of the Month thrillers have just like not been great in my opinion. So I was like super bummed out that I didn't like this. But essentially this book is about a group of people who are mountain climbing together for this like insane expedition. And our main character, my laptop just went dark. So it's a group of people who are doing this mountain climbing expedition together. And the main character is a journalist, and there's like this almost famous like mountain climber amongst the group that he's basically like, if you come on this mountain climbing experience, like I'll let you interview me. So it's kind of like she wants to really boost her career and kind of prove to herself that she can climb this mountain with all of these people. But oh gosh, it's boring for a number of reasons, and I also found it to be very predictable. So I'm not going to go a whole ton into it since I did film the entire read with me style vlog for it. But yeah, this was the worst book I read in the month of May. It just wasn't really good. Okay, this next book is definitely like I am on the unpopular opinion side. I have seen 5-star reviews for this literally everywhere, especially on Bookstagram. So it was on my TBR shelf for quite some time, just chilling on the back right here. These are all of my TBR books. And that is A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham. Yeah, everybody loved this. I ended up, I'm torn between giving this like a decent but flawed and an enjoyable read. I feel like decent but flawed is a little bit harsh for this. It is a debut novel. I was actually really shocked. I looked at the author on Instagram and she's young. I mean, like, I doubt she's even in her 30s yet. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, it was just really cool to see like a young author. I don't know, like, I feel like typically when we see like authors' pictures and stuff in the back, they're typically like not in their 20s or young 30s, at least the thrillers that I typically read. So that was actually really cool. And I know she's coming out with a new novel and everybody's like super excited for it. But I found this to be also extremely predictable. I did think that the writing was really good, but I did have 3 theories, like towards, I don't know, about halfway. I was chatting with a lot of my friends on Bookstagram when I was reading this, and I was like, okay, these are my 3 theories, and everyone was really cool. They're like, awesome, good. Like, they didn't give me, you know, any feedback because I didn't want to be spoiled, but it ended up being one of those theories. And like, I felt like if I, like, that early on in the book, if I was able to kind of like call it, it doesn't really make it fun for me. And it's kind of like a letdown, like when you finish the book and you're like, okay, like, saw that one coming kind of thing. So I don't know. I just gave this a 3 stars. Everybody loved this one though. So if you're like on the fence, or if you want to read like a book that's super hyped up, maybe give it a read. I do link all of the books in the description box for you guys. But yeah, this one is about this girl whose dad was convicted of a murder. And now it's like 20 years later, and there's like some similar killings happening again. So it's kind of like her past is coming back to haunt her, if you will. But yeah, I did not understand the hype for this. Like, in the nicest way possible, I just didn't. Book of the month choice, again for me, 2022. I had to also get this. The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas. I couldn't pass this one up. I couldn't. Like, the cover is just so stunning. I love that like burnt orange, and it's a gothic fiction. I've only ever read one other gothic fiction, which was The Death of Jane Lawrence, I want to say. That was like way back in all of my October thriller videos. Oh my God, that book was terrible. Do not even like give it a second thought. Like, it was literally so disturbing and disgusting, and like also didn't make any sense. Anyways, this book, The Hacienda, I ended up giving a 3 stars to. I do firmly believe this was an enjoyable read. It is spooky. Let's see. So this book takes place in like the early 1800s. In Mexico, our main character's father was like executed and her home was destroyed. She ends up meeting this man that she marries, and she's like promised this beautiful home, and she's like, I finally can have a home that's mine, and she like really wants to impress her mom with it. But then she quickly learns that like not only is the man she married a widow, but it kind of seems that like some shady stuff maybe went on with his wife, or, you know, his now late wife, and like there's a bunch of spooky shit that goes on in the house. It was fun to read. However, the ending was like nothing, oh my gosh, like there were never like, oh my gosh moments. Also, I felt like there were so many filler scenes where I was like, okay, like I'm actually super bored reading this. Like, can we go on? So yeah, all in all, I did like it. I do think it's fun for like an October read, but is it something that like I recommend reading right now? No, maybe save it for like spooky season. Okay, now we're getting into the 3 super freaking amazing books that I read in the month of May. The very first one, a thriller author that I love and I actually think deserves more hype in the book community, is My Wife is Missing, written by DJ Palmer. I absolutely loved The Perfect Daughter by this author. One of my friends is currently borrowing that book. And I did read The New Husband, also written by DJ Palmer. Both amazing books. I'll link them down below. But this is my 3rd thriller by this author. All of the thrillers I have read have been 4 to 5 stars. And this is no exception. My Wife is Missing is a 4.5 star for me. It is so very close to a 5. And my only complaint was like, there were some scenes and I was like, okay, like let's, kind of amp it up a little bit. I will say I was listening to this book. This was granted to me by the publisher as an audio book, and I was listening to this while I was reading probably the best book I've read in 2022, which is coming up. So I feel like had I given it my full, like, undivided attention and like finished it in like 2 days versus like stretching it out over a week, I may have felt a little differently. But like I said, I was also listening to this while reading like an insanely gripping, fast-paced novel. So I think maybe like that kind of skewed me a little bit. But it's really good. It's basically a thriller about a wife and a husband, and the wife is convinced that like her husband is this like cheater. And she's like, you get the vibe early on that like he has done some really messed up stuff, and she ends up taking the kids and leaving. So they're like at this hotel together, and she's like, hey, can you go get dinner? And he's like, sure. So he comes back with dinner and they're gone. Like their shit is gone. He starts freaking out. He can't find them. And then the book is like the wife traveling with the kids and the husband trying to find them. And like you as a reader are getting the past point of views of like what the heck happened for her to like take the kids and go. And then there's like that unreliable narrator piece, which I love. Like I love it in psychological thrillers where you're like, okay, either he's this like really messed up person or she's crazy, or it's like a mix of both. And it is really, really good. Like I fully enjoyed my experience listening to it. First 5-star book in May was Hidden Pictures by Jason Rikulik. I was gifted this audiobook to listen to by the publisher, and oh my gosh, it's crazy. It's like a horror thriller, and I don't really read a whole ton of horror, so like having this book and the Hacienda, like I was really into the ghostly vibes in May. This book is unreal though, because it's also kind of like a psychological thriller, and basically it follows our main character Mallory, who's a recovering drug addict, and she gets this nannying job for this very kind of like, they seem to be like this posh family with like, they have all these like strict rules. But basically instead of living in I think she was living in like a halfway home or something, this job like allows her to live on site with the family, but she gets her like own separate cottage. Okay, so that kind of like sets the tone. Then they only have one son named Teddy, and Teddy's like drawing all these like crazy pictures, like really messed up, like gory, spooky pictures. And Mallory's like, what the heck? And she's like trying to tell the parents like, hey, like this weird stuff's going on. I'm just going to end it there though, guys. There is some spooky stuff going on. The imagery is insane. You are so invested. Like I could not wait to finish this book. It was never boring. And there are some massive twists like near the end of this book, and it is so good. I know this book is like getting all of the hype on Bookstagram right now too, and it is so well deserved. You guys have to check it out. I'm linking it below for you. Of course, Hidden Pictures was a go get this book now. And so I honestly think this book is probably my favorite book of 2022. And that is What Lies Between Us by John Mars. Guys, this book has been sitting back here on my TBR since I impulse bought this probably half a year ago, okay? This book had all the freaking hype. When did this come out? Was it last year or was it 2020? Text copyright says 2020. This was all over Bookstagram. Everyone was like, oh my God, read this. It's insane. It's so good. I had finished all of my book of the month books for May, and I was like, okay, I know that I have some time before my next book of the month box comes. Like, let me try to pick something off of my TBR. This is insane, and I have never said this since reading Verity by Colleen Hoover, probably the best thriller of all time. I have not read a book as quickly as I read Verity. Like, this is the second most fast-paced book I've ever read in my life. I finished this within 24 hours, which is extremely quick for me. It is so good. I went into it not reading the synopsis, nothing. Like, I literally bought this because everybody and their mother was posting about it on Instagram. back when it first came out. And I'm like a little nervous. I don't know. Let's see. I am going to go ahead and just read the back of it if you have no idea what this book is about. I don't think it spoils much because the book starts off like right away. You're like, what the fuck is going on? So it says, Nina can never forgive Maggie for what she did, and she can never let her leave. They say every house has its secrets, and the house that Maggie and Nina have shared for so long is no different, except that these secrets are not buried in the past. Every other night, Maggie and Nina have dinner together. When they are finished, Nina helps Maggie back to her room in the attic and into the heavy chain that keeps her there. Because Maggie has done things to Nina that can never be forgiven, and now she's paying the price. Many things about the past that Nina doesn't know, and Maggie is going to keep it that way, even if it kills her, because in this house, the truth is more dangerous than lies. So like I said, I went into this literally knowing nothing, and the book tells you here that she's keeping that woman hostage in her attic. So I found that out like very quickly, like first 20 or 30 pages. And I'm like, what the heck am I reading? Guys, it's literally so good. Like you cannot put it down. It is insane. It is disturbing. It definitely is a psychological thriller. But if you are looking for a fast-paced thriller for the summer, like get this book. Seriously, it's so good. And that wraps up all 6 books that I read in the month of May. I would say it's a pretty good reading month. If I had 6 of those total and 3 of them were 4 stars or higher, like I'll take it. That's a pretty good month for me. So I'm very confident that June is going to be a great month because I'm reading Jennifer Hillier's new novel. Little Secrets is one of my all-time favorite thrillers ever, like ever. I'll link that below. I freaking love that thriller. So I have massively high hopes for that. I'm going to be doing read with me's for both of those thrillers. I've been talking too much now. But anyways, let me know what you are reading in the month of June or if you read any of these books. And as always, I'll see you in my next video. Bye, you guys.